ancient temples as immortal as the religion they encompass, of sphinxes whose godlike presence humbles us even today. As we look across the sands of time, we see yet another of Egypt's eternal contributions to posterity, the Arab horse, the magnificent steeds upon which men depended for their very existence, mounts of rulers and noblemen, companions to their Bedouin masters whose tents they shared. These horses have evolved to be treasured as works of art and everlasting friends to man. Throughout their 3,500-year history, the most beautiful of Arab horses were treasured, even in a day when countless thousands of them were a necessary part of life on the Arabian desert. These few rare specimens of meticulous breeding and beauty were jealously guarded and zealously sought by Bedouin sheiks and kings, and often were the objects of intrigue and conquest. When the Crusaders first ventured into the Middle East, they too were impressed by these picture book horses with their arched necks, their gleeful tails, their short, strong backs, their oneness with their riders, and their ability to go and go, seemingly forever, without tiring. The breeding of Arab horses to European horses ultimately produced the various breeds of light horses that we know today. In Egypt, rulers and noblemen eagerly sought and acquired some of the most beautiful horses from the desert tribes. In the early 1800s, Muhammad Ali the Great is said to have acquired, through invasion and conquest, some 1,100 spectacularly classic Arabian horses. In 1848, Muhammad Ali passed his governorship of Egypt and his horses to his grandson, Abbas Pasha I, also a great lover of Arabian horses. This painting by George Henry Laporte in 1835 shows Abbas Pasha with his entourage mounted on these celebrated Arabian steeds. They were the envy of all horse lovers and horse breeders in Europe. Ali Pasha Sharif, Prince Muhammad Ali, and later King Farouk continued to maintain priceless collections of horses. With Nasser's ascent to power in 1952, the Royal Agricultural Society was renamed the Egyptian Agricultural Organization, the EAO. It is from its famous El Zara stud that Doug and Margaret Marshall, owners of Glenlock Farms, obtained the horses that became the foundation stock for their world-renowned stud farm. They had searched throughout Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries in their attempt to find their ideal, their dream of an Arabian horse. This is Doug Marshall inspecting the Saudi Arabians' horses on a trip to their country in the early 1960s. This was one of the stallions being shown to Margaret Marshall. But during World War II, when Doug Marshall was stationed in Egypt, he had seen the horses at the El Zara stud in Cairo. This memory led him back to Cairo. Here, Dr. Mazafi, who was in charge of the El Zara stud, is shown greeting his visitors, the Marshalls and the McNairs. Over a month was spent choosing an impressive group of horses. 12 mares and 4 stallions, including the now legendary stallion, Morafik. Throughout the animal kingdom, we occasionally run across individuals who, through their presence and their bearing, impress us instantly as being of royal blood. This was such an individual. Morafik was one of the great sires of Egypt prior to his importation by Glenlock Farms in 1965. He was born at the El Zara stud on February 19, 1956, a son of the famous Nazir and out of Mabruka. The year after his importation, Marafik won championships both in halter and in park. But Marafik acquired show ring fame largely through his get, who have earned for him the reputation of being one of the top sires of show horses and breeding horses in this country. One recent count showed Marafik as having produced more than 50 champions. Marafik. Magnificent. Breathtaking. Special. Unique. Unforgettable. He was the embodiment of beauty and function. Marafik knew he was ruler of all he surveyed. When led from his stall, he would prance majestically, displaying his extreme type and his airy brilliance. He was an aristocrat. One could never forget his masculine dignity, pride, courage, spirit, and vibrant joy in being alive. His superbly chiseled head was embellished by great dark eyes that looked straight at you on the basis of creature to creature, not inferior animal to superior man. His eyes were calm and quiet and wise and interested. To quote one visitor, looking upon Marafik was to share the unique experience one has upon looking at the pyramids. Marafik's death in March of 1974 marked the end of an era. He did indeed alter the breeding objectives of Glenlock Farms and of countless farms throughout the world. In Mary Jane Parkinson's list of sires of significance in 1977 and 1978, Nazir was the leading sire in halter placings, and his son, Marafik, was in second place. Marafik's sire, Nazir, has become a byword for almost anyone breeding Arabians. The Nazir type, that exquisite look, has made his get the rare treasures that they are. Among Glenlock's earliest importations, beside Marafik, were other Nazir get. One of the most famous of the 1962 imports is the Nazir daughter Bint Maiza El Zagira. In her show career in the early 60s, she was instrumental in winning many new friends to Egyptian breeding. Her tail carriage, presence, stamina, and heart won her national top honors in halter, English pleasure, and park, with many blues in costume and side saddle. She soon earned her Legion of Merit. Her descendants include such names as Amal, Sheikh Al-Badi, Shamruk, Radia, Rehana, Damashawania, Al-Mawadi, and Shahid. Surely one of the loveliest of the Nazir daughters is Bint Mona. Here is her dam, Mona. Here is her three-quarter sister, Hoida, by Marafik. Bint Mona is the dam of Ilmuna, by Marafik. Winner of the 1971 National Mare Futurity, U.S. Top 10 Mare, and winner in park. Bint Mona also produced the Egyptian Prince, shown here at his home in Washington. These Marafik get were the result of blood brother and sister mating. Another example of this was Nora. Bred to Antar, Bint Mona produced Ibn Antar, now in Australia. Bred to Ansata Ibn Halima, she produced Mosin. To Ibn Hafiza, she produced Ataya Riala, and Maluki. To Zaghloul, she produced Ibn Zaghloul. Another Nazir daughter, imported in 1962, was Bint Nafisa. Bred to Ansata ibn Halima in 1965, when he was on lease to Glenlock Farms, she produced the well-known stallion El Hilal. This scene shows three Nazir sons together at Pin Oak Stable in Houston in 1973. Marafiq, Ansata ibn Halima, and Talal. It is easy to see Nazir's contribution. Type, top line, tail carriage, presence, that look of eagles. This was Marafiq's last public appearance. The audience was spellbound. Another Nazir son that greatly influenced Glenlock's breeding program is Ala Eldin out of Katifa, also the dam of Maftakar, or Maftakar, shown here in these 1960 movies. Maftakar, at the age of 15, was a member of the first Glenlock show string. His get share his heart, his stamina, and his intelligence. Fowler, foaled in 1967 and imported in 68, is by Ala Eldin and out of the Sid Abun daughter, Thrasha, dam of Nabila. Fowler's keen intelligence made it easy for him to learn many roles and to compete in different divisions. His exquisite type, coupled with his athletic ability, made it easy for him to win. Fowler never seemed to tire, going in class after class. He won his first national championship in 1971 as U.S. National Native Costume Champion. He has many admirers of his ground-covering gallop and his ability to maneuver in the ring. He was named U.S. Reserve Champion Costume Horse in 1973 and U.S. National Champion again in 75. With several U.S. top tens in side saddle, in English pleasure, and as an equitation mount. Fowler's tremendous stamina made it easier for him to place favorably in 100-mile trail competition. This photograph was taken during the visit of Egypt's President Sadat to the farm. The Prophet has said, "If after having gathered together in one place all the horses of the Arabs, I were to make them gallop together, it would be the chestnut that would outdistance them all." Fowler's foals are a joy. They have the exquisite type of their sire and are eager, quick to learn, responsive, sensitive, people-oriented. Sufyan is another Ala el-Din son imported in the 1968 group. He is out of Moniet el-Nafus, Marafiq's granddam. This scene shows three very famous old Egyptian mares. On the right is Moniet el-Nafus, filmed when she was 24. In the middle, her daughter, Mabruka, at age 19, and on the left, Mabruka's full sister, Mona. Sufyan was foaled when Moniet was in her mid-20s. He has made quite a contribution to Arabian breeding in America, not only at Glenlock, but in Canada and in Pennsylvania when he was on lease. Sufyan has a fluid, free way of moving with good action. He is ridden regularly and seems to enjoy his daily outings. Dion's head is that of his dam, Monyet el Nafus. His foals are truly lovely. They are elegant, a unique combination of size and refinement. An Ala el-Din daughter is Omnia, dam of such Marafic sons as Zadan, Malik, Magid, and the young Ibn Hafiz's son, Aben Hetep. Another Ala el-Din daughter is Magida, dam of two national futurity winners, Shafika by Marafic and Nabil by Saka, and of Nabil's younger brother, Suga. The Ala el-Din daughter, Shia, is a top 10 mare and the dam of reserve national champion gelding, Rayek, and his full brother, Sharks, now in England. Second to Nazir in his influence on Glenlock's early imports was Antar. A son of Hamdan, he was bred by the Royal Agricultural Society. Antar sired 10 of the Glenlock horses imported from 1962 to 1970. 8 became producing mares. Antar's get have a fluid, free way of moving and a quiet, even disposition, coupled with very beautiful heads, though somewhat different from the Nazir type. One of his finest daughters is Dawlet, out of the Nazir daughter, Scheherazade. Dawlet won many championships in the 60s and early 70s. Alta, Park, English Pleasure, Western Pleasure. She is a remarkable mare. At the age of 18, she gave birth to twins, by Fowler, which she cared for without human assistance. Some of Dawlet's produce include Dalu, National Stallion Futurity winner, Doria, Reserve National Futurity winner, Kula, Wazir ibn Marafiq, and Aja ibn Fala, 1977 Race Horse Colt of the Year. Nihal, perhaps Antar's most famous daughter, was imported in 1968. She was named U.S. National Champion Western Pleasure Horse in 1971, and the same year was a top 10 in English Pleasure. She was ridden countless miles by the McNair children, Dan and Maggie, and by the Marshall's sons, Doug and Hugh. A member of the show string for many years, she also produced well with foals by Saka, Amal, and Ibn Hafiza, before her untimely death in 1977. Here is her son, Sadiq, by Saka. Another famous Antar daughter is Karamana, out of the lovely Nazir daughter, Kama. Karamana's produce includes Shah Nishan, by Marafiq, as shown here, and full brother to Ferris and Ibn Marafiq. Sama is another of the EAO stallions that played a large role in the breeding objectives of Glenlock Farms. He was bred by His Majesty King Farouk of Egypt whose herd later became part of the Egyptian Agricultural Organization. In all, Glenlock has imported 6 Sama daughters. One of them was Romana II, out of Nazira. She was a popular show champion and top 10 mare. She produced 3 Marafic daughters. This is the champion Dahlia, top 10 English pleasure mare. Here is Bint Romana, top 10 mare at halter, in side saddle, and native costume. She is shown here with the Marshal's niece, Carol Hoepner. She is the dam of this exquisite Sufyan colt. Another imported Sama daughter was top 10 mare Fakia, out of the Nazir daughter Mamluka. Fakia produced 3 very lovely Marafic daughters, Faral, Najla, and Anagea. Notice the smoothness which Sama consistently produces. She is elegant, graceful. Here is the Sama daughter, Shama, shown here while she was still in Egypt and in the US. Many times a champion, Shama produced such horses as Amir ibn Shama and Bint Rafika, both by Marafic. The Sama daughter, Safar, full sister to Sultan, produced several Marafic get, including Al-Fatah and Zaim, now owned by King Hassan II of Morocco, and the show mare, Muzarafa, dam of Sheikh el-Hafiz. Here is the Sama daughter Dina, dam of Ahia, and Nariman, both by Marafic. Whenever there is extensive line breeding in a herd, the outcross stallions are extremely important. When the Marshals returned to Egypt in 1970, they secured the Sama son, Ibn Hafiza, as an outcross for the Marafic daughters. Ibn Hafiza is extremely smooth with elegant motion. Although he is no longer at Glenlock, his daughters are a valuable asset to the broodmare band. Ibn Hafiz's first son, to become nationally known, was Al-Maligi, Sid Abu'am daughter, Bint el-Samra. In 1975, Al-Maligi was named U.S. Reserve National Western Pleasure Champion and top 10 in English pleasure. He later received additional national honors in the U.S. and was National Western Pleasure Champion of Canada. Gamal al-Arab, age 4, is a beautiful young horse. He is by Ibn Hafiza and out of the Marafic daughter, Gamila. His easygoing temperament and smooth gaits are typical of Ibn Hafiza Get. Notice his willing obedience, coming to his handler from the far corner of the paddock and following her out the gate. A valued member of the show string at 3, he won his first 6 costume classes and was judged Canadian top 10 in native costume with frequent blues in halter, English pleasure, and side saddle. Gamal al-Arab, a Sama grandson, is shown here with another Sama grandson, the familiar Saka. Both are Marafic grandsons. Both are winners of international honors. Both have free, easy movement, elastic and fluid. Sir Walter Scott said of the Arab horse, "They spurned the sand from behind them. Miles flew away with minutes, yet their strength seemed unabated." 1970, a second outcross stallion was imported, the Gasser's son, Zaglul. Here is Gasser, and his son, Zaglul. Zaglul raced successfully while in Egypt. For several years after his importation, he was on lease at Colorado State. Thus, his potential for the farm was realized late. He is now an indispensable part of the breeding program. His athletic ability, high set neck and good shoulder are traits found in all his get, as are good legs and his excellent disposition. Here is Ibn Zaglul, out of Bint Mona. This is Al-Kahala, another black Zaglul son, with his owner Hugh Marshall. He is out of Karamana, the dam of Ibn Marathib. In the words of an African poem, my horse is black like a night without moon or stars. He is a drinker of the wind, a son of a drinker of the wind. The very lightning cannot overtake him. His ears rival those of the gazelle. His eyes are the eyes of an alluring woman. His nostrils are like the lion's den. One might call him an arrow launched by destiny. Sarka, without doubt, is one of the most popular show horses today. By the Samarkand Sultan, and out of the lovely Marathic daughter Inayat, he was imported as an under-yearling in 1968. Sarka began his show career as a 2-year-old, winning most classic Arabian and Grand Champion stallion at the Texas State Fair. Sarka and his get reflect so many things typical of Egyptian-bred Arabians: animation, intelligence, affection. They are a joy to be around. What is it about this magnificent white stallion that gives him the electrifying rapport with his audience? Sarka is a show horse. He always has been. He began winning park classes as a 3-year-old and was undefeated for an entire year. Sarka symbolizes for many the airy and brilliant Arab with his own natural and unique way of moving. His brilliance, his keen ears forward in eager anticipation, his tail gaily signaling his obvious enjoyment of the game, his eyes sparkling at the applause. 3 times he has been named U.S. Reserve National Champion Park Horse. His breathtaking performance in the final park class in Vancouver was something to behold. In 1978, he was judged the National Champion Park Horse of Canada. Sarka is the epitome of a native costume horse. He views the horse show world as something created for his delight and pleasure. He enjoys his audiences as much as they enjoy him. Surely he and Tom McNair have found that special oneness his ancestors shared with their Bedouin masters. Perhaps they have added a special dignity to the costume division. They have galloped not across the desert, but into the hearts of thousands. For 3 consecutive years, 76, 77, 78, Sarka has been named U.S. National Native Costume Champion. Sarker, for a time at least, an undefeated champion. And the prophet said, the expression in a horse's eye is like a blessing on a good man's house. Neama, a 3-year-old Sarker daughter, is out of Nabila, daughter of Antar. Already a champion, her easy way of moving, her pleasing appearance, and a very special Egyptian look are qualities that are consistently found among the mares at Glenlock. She has her sire's people-loving temperament. This young lady is the granddaughter of Marafik, of Sama, of Hamdan, and of Sid Abuam. Is there any wonder that she can move well? Her color, in the words of an Arab saying, resembles the red tint which the setting sun leaves on the horizon. Neama's dam is Nabila, an Antar daughter out of Frasha. She produced 10 foals for Glenlock, including Kamal ibn Marafik, Ben Marafik, and Naglia. Habib al-Kol, this Sarker son, shown here at 4, is out of Habiba, granddaughter of Marafik and of El Sariya. He shows the lovely head, the airy manner, the antics, and the elegant bearing that one would expect. It is easy to see why the Arab horse is referred to as one of the most beautiful creatures on earth. Habib is just beginning his show career and is winning both in English pleasure and in park. Nabil is a popular son of Sarker. Winner of the National Stallion Futurity and a top 10 stallion, Nabil is producing get of national prominence. In 1976, Sarker was first named U.S. National Native Costume Champion. Reserved to him was his half-sister, Manzura. Here they are shown posing for photographs after their incredible win. The same year, Manzura was named U.S. National Champion in ladies' side saddle with wins in halter and English pleasure. She is an extremely valuable member of Glenlock's broodmares. Sid Abuhum was a racehorse who gave to his progeny many desirable characteristics. He was the sire of Mabruka. One of his daughters, imported by Glenlock, was Sanaa, dam of Marafik's sons Mosrik and Al-Fahia, of the Ibn Halima son Hosni, and this lovely Marafik daughter, Fardoz. Another Sid Abuam daughter is Bint El Samra, the dam of Al-Maligi and also of the Nazir grandson Ibn al-Hassan. Ibn al-Hassan was imported in utero in 1970. For a time, he was on lease, and for 2 years, he was a winning racehorse, prior to his entry into the show string. 1978 was his first real show season. At that time, he was named top 10 Western pleasure horse, both in the US and Canada. He is a halter champion, English pleasure champion, and a good juniors horse. Ibn al-Hassan is extremely correct, has large expressive eyes, a quiet, even temperament, and seems to produce both type and quality in his foals. Yet another influence on the Glenlock herd is the stallion El Sariya, whose daughters have been top producers. Bint Hana by Al-Saria, produced the 1975 Reserve National Champion mare, Bint Bint Hana. And Habiba, dam of Habib Al-Kol, and Saeed, shown here as a foal, before he became a winner on the racetrack. Another daughter, Salome, imported in '62, produced top 10 stallion Sabah El Zara. Bint Shams, also by El Saria, produced this very nice Egyptian Prince filly. Glenlock's mares are some of the very finest in the world. Many are champions. Many are producers of champions. Many are potential champions who never reach the show ring. Their quality is apparent, and to look at their foals is to realize their value to the Arabian industry. Glenlock Farms Arabian stud has, through 1972, imported a total of 46 mares. 15 have been shown, and 9 have been champions. The 7 that have been shown in national competition have accumulated 1 national championship, 2 reserves, and 18 top 10s. 40 mares have produced for the farm 9 first-place futurity winners and 33 show champions that have accumulated more than 25 top 10s. But 54% of the original imported mares were never shown. Imported mares have, as of 1979, produced 231 foals for Glenlock alone. Among the 1979 brood mares at Glenlock are 20 Marafiq daughters. Marafiq's most famous daughter was Nala, imported along with her sire and 13 others in 1965. Her angelic demeanor and her sheer beauty, together with her intelligence and athletic versatility, made it possible for her to win countless events and countless admirers. In 1967, she was named Reserve National Champion Mare at Halter. Before her untimely death in 1973, she had accumulated 6 top 10s in Halter, English Pleasure, Native Costume, and Western Pleasure, with many blues in Side Saddle and Hunter Hag. A total of 32 championships, and of course, her Legion of Merit. Nala was a mare beloved by all who knew her. She was indeed the paragon of a true pleasure horse. Among her descendants are El Daim and Nada. Hebat Allah means gift of God. As one of the youngest Marafiq daughters, she is indeed what her name implies. She was National Futurity Champion Mare in 1977 and is a Canadian top 10 mare. Ilmuna was U.S. National Futurity Champion Mare back in 1971 and was a U.S. top 10 mare at Halter. Reserved to her was another Marafiq daughter, the champion Muzarafa. Later, top 10 in Western Pleasure. Another Marafiq daughter to achieve national prominence is Bint Bint Hana, out of an El Saria daughter. In 1975, she was U.S. Reserve National Champion Mare. That same year, 3 Marafiq daughters placed first, second, and third in the National Mare Futurity. They are, right to left, Shafika, out of Magida, Doria, out of Dolat, and Shahira, out of Shia, herself a top 10 mare at Halter and a performance winner. This was an incredible record for one stallion in 1 year's nationals. Marafiq, over a 9-year period, sired 6 national futurity champions, 4 reserve champions, and at least 9 top 5 national futurity winners, with a number of Grand Get placing in recent years. 7 in 78 alone, and winning the Stallion Futurity in 77. Consider the fact that straight Egyptian horses comprise only 0.6% of the total Arabian population in this country. Their contribution to the Arabian population as a whole is enormous. This is the happy circumstance surrounding Egyptian breeding. The consistency with which these horses produce their type and quality over and over again. Very appealing is the extreme type and refinement, the dryness of their lovely heads, their lofty tail carriage, their large expressive eyes, and their people-loving temperaments. This is Ghazala at age 28. She is to many the embodiment of the desert mare. The Prophet said of the horse, "He who loves his mare and treats her kindly shall have God's bounty, and he who ill-treats his mare shall be cursed of God." One of the most exciting of the present-day Marafic show horses is Rayek, shown here with his owner, Judith Marshall. He was the 1977 Reserve National Champion Gelding and Reserve National Futurity Champion Gelding. He is out of the top 10 mare Shia and a full brother to Sharks in England. English pleasure is his forte. He demonstrates a light, airy way of going, free shoulder, lightness in the bridle and bold, square gaits. How very fortunate for posterity that the year before Marafic's death, a son was born out of the lovely Antar daughter, Karamana. This foal, first named Abu Kail, which means father of horses, is now the world-famous Ibn Marafic. His first public appearance was in 1975 at the Arabian Horse Fair in Louisville, Kentucky. The next year, back in Kentucky, Ibn Marafic was named National Futurity Champion Stallion. From Marafic, he inherits that very special classic elegance, that exquisite Egyptian type, deep shoulder, and high-set neck. From the Nazir and Antar lines, he inherits a freedom of movement, an exceptional athletic ability. His foals are the embodiment of these characteristics. He consistently produces that classic elegance that has become his trademark. Because of a heavy breeding schedule, Ibn Marafic was shown very little until late in 1978. At that time, he was named U.S. Top 10 in English Pleasure and Canadian Top 10 at Halter, winning numerous most classic classes and even serving as an equitation mount. When Marafic died in March of 1974, Glenlock Farms was much in need of a head stallion to take his place. Ibn Marafic has more than fulfilled Glenlock's highest expectations. By the age of 6, Ibn Marafic reached the honor of being one of the top producing stallions in the nation. His foals were already doing their share of winning in the show ring. Amal, out of Bint Maisa El Sagira, is another of Glenlock's top producing stallions. Here is the Amal son Al-Sad, out of a Tahotnas daughter. Amal is one of several Marafic sons made available for lease, as are Al-Fatah out of Safar, and Shahid out of Darmashawania. The youngest Marafiq son, Saeed, is currently racing. Marafiq sons, according to a recent study, are today producing more offspring than those of any other sire. Most of these sons were bred at Glenlock Farms. A few sons, not already mentioned, would include the imports Ibn Manyet El Nafus, sire of many champions, Refki, out of Rafika, Kofo, out of Nabila by Antar, Anwar, out of Gaza. Glenlock-bred sons would include Ahia in South Africa, out of the Sama daughter, Dina, Sharks in England, out of the Ala el-Din daughter, Shia, Al-Nishan, out of the Antar daughter, Iman, Al-Nimr, out of the Antar daughter, Hekmat, Al-Matrabi, out of the Marafiq daughter, Samara, also the dam of El-Hadi, Maraftakar, out of the Maftakar daughter, Najissa, Dalul, out of Daulat, Huad, in Saudi Arabia, out of a Sid Abuam daughter, Zayn ibn Marafiq, out of the Maftakar daughter, Il-Mandil, Hamid ibn Marafiq, out of the Antar daughter, Samaya, Zaim, in Morocco, out of a Samar daughter, Safar, Kai, out of the Maftakar daughter, Radania, and Sata Shah Zaman was the result of a mating between Marafiq and his full sister, Ansata bint Mabruka. His son, Ansata Shazam, a Marafiq grandson, won the U.S. National Stallion Futurity in 1977. The Egyptian domestic cross produces some of the very best show horses. The Russian horses are proof of the influence of Egyptian breeding, coupled with Polish and Krabat lines. Here are additional Marafiq sons. Amir ibn Marafiq, out of the domestic bred Bint Sur, Mazri, and El-Saz, out of the Zab daughter Rusa, Alice Marafi, out of the part Egyptian, part domestic bred mare Bint Jubalima. Marafiq Get have won through 1978 more than 28 Get of Sire classes. Each year, countless numbers of people visit the farm from all over the world. Glenlock's contribution to Arabian breeding extends throughout the world. Glenlock horses have been exported to England, Australia, Canada, Mexico, South Africa, Central and South America, Saudi Arabia, and in 1978, 5 horses were sold to King Hassan II of Morocco. Glenlock's horses are sold with a guarantee of breeding soundness. Occasionally, customers are assisted with the training of horses purchased. Glenlock horses are shown from coast to coast. Here are several Glenlock stallions at the Arabian Horse Fair in Reno. They have exhibited at the other international fairs in Kentucky and in Virginia. They are always seen at the United States National Show and occasionally in Canada. Not only do Glenlock horses compete in the show ring, but in other types of events as well. In 1972, Glenlock horses were transported all the way to Maine, where the McNair family rode 4 horses, including 2 national champion show horses, on a 100-mile competitive ride. These horses proved their stamina, their versatility, and their tractability. Glenlock horses also compete in racing. All these activities necessitate a rigorous training program at home. Each horse receives personal, individual attention, special care and handling according to his needs. by dedicated personnel. He is taught with kindness, but with firmness, to do what is required. Each horse receives an adequate amount of exercise. Some of the horses in training are lunged or ridden in the indoor arena. The mirror on the wall shows how a horse will look to the judge. Glenlock stallions are affectionate, friendly, tractable. When asked, they're exciting and glamorous as well. They are taught obedience, to come when called. Mares are carefully checked and are handled by a competent staff. Each horse receives adequate veterinary care in addition to other physical needs. Foals are handled at an early age so that training will come easily. Here are several weanlings receiving their daily lesson. Another Arab saying seems appropriate. Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Another vital part of the early training at Glenlock Farms is that done in a round corral or training pen, sometimes called a round ring or bullpen. It is here that the horses learn confidence as well as obedience. They become attuned to their handler. They develop the muscular coordination and strength to do the tasks that will later be required of them. The swimming pool is another part of the facility at Glenlock. Fowler worked up to 35 laps in the pool before the 100-mile ride in Maine. Horses not being ridden for any reason can be exercised in the pool. The pool replaces to some degree the lack of hills in the Houston area. Trail riding is important at Glenlock. Show horses, as well as trail horses, receive much of their training outside, in the woods and fields, where they can relax and enjoy the open air and the warm Texas sun. This helps them to maintain a bright and relaxed attitude. Adequate exercise enables stallions, especially, to remain calm and contented. In the words of trainer Tom McNair,
we believe that it's very important that each stallion be turned out in his paddock for about 2 hours a day if he's not being worked. But whether the horses are worked in the training pen, or ridden, or exercised in their paddock, they're carefully washed and put on the walker to be cooled out. We make sure that each horse is completely dry before he's put away. Good facilities are extremely important for a successful operation.
Here at Glenlock, in this peaceful Texas setting, is a collection of some of the finest specimens of Egyptian breeding to be found in the world. Why did the Marshalls, in their 1968 sale of champions, change over to the exclusive breeding of Egyptian bloodlines? In order to provide a pool of straight Egyptian horses for other breeders interested in the special qualities for which these horses are noted. As the Marshalls express it, we are striving through our breeding program to produce the horse of the desert at its best, with elegance, hardiness, affection, intelligence, and sheer beauty. These horses are the fulfillment of a dream. They are our companions, our friends, our sacred trust, our most treasured possessions. May we serve them well. As William Jennings Bryan put it, destiny is no matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. It is not a thing to be waited for. It is a thing to be achieved.